But yeah, man, I mean, we can get started now if you're
I
ready
love
to
it.
go.
I'm ready to rock, man.
Let's rock, bro.
This has been waiting in the wings for a couple of years, and now we're here.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean, listen, everyone, we are live back with another episode of Granted. This episode has been, like you said, something we've talked about since probably the first time I can remember was the Basketball Social House.
Okay.
Can
Yep.
you go further back than that?
Like we said, it was always verbal. I looked at our messages before I got here
Yeah.
earlier today, to say, hey, when was the last time, the very first time we mentioned it? But I think you're probably right. It was probably Basketball
Yeah.
Social House.
Well, were our text strings that long? Probably there wasn't much there, was
There
there?
wasn't a ton. The very first text we had, I said, hey, Grant, give me a call when you can. And you had said something like, oh, sorry, Mr. Call Coach. And I said, oh, I just wanted to let you know you made the team.
Oh my gosh, I do remember that.
That's
call.
That's our first message thread. And
Wow.
then that was back in 2019.
2019. Yeah. So just for the audience, can you tell them like how we got connected and how we're still in touch today?
Yeah. So I used to run a youth basketball program, as you know very well, Eurostar, and it was tryouts. And you came to tryouts one time. I think you knew probably a couple of guys, Ryan Lowe, Jake Hanlon, Dean Stickle, and came to tryout. And I saw a lot of potential there.
Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I was so nervous, dude. Oh my God, I was so nervous. 'Cause, like, that was my first AAU tryout, and you go into a gym where it's like, I've only played rec ball up to that point. I feel like trash coming
Right.
into this gym.
Right.
And so it was definitely a great, that just being coached by you and playing with all those guys was super special because I'm still in touch with everybody.
Yeah.
Like I see Dean at the rec center all the time. Ryan and Jake, I'm super tight with them still. Like
that warms my heart because that was a big part of my whole vision of the program. Coming from Ireland, I'd moved out here to Denver. I've been here now 15 years. But when I moved out here and saw the club set up, and I saw kind of kids jumping from club to club a lot, and I was like, well, I want to create a program where ideally, kids will stay for a long time to create those relationships, because that's what I had back in Ireland. In Europe, it's very common that the club that you play with, it's your local club. So you don't, you're not usually driving 45 minutes here or 50 minutes here. It's whatever is close to your town. And you grow up playing with these guys until 18, all the way into the senior level.
Right.
And those are guys that, even when I go back home now to Ireland, that I still see.
Man.
Dudes that we were talking about. I can specifically remember getting to practice on a Saturday morning talking about cartoons, with my guy Colin Bernard, and say, hey, did you see this episode and everything else? And now we're in our early 30s, I believe it is. Early 30s.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not unk yet.
Yeah, not unk yet. Not unk status yet, but still, every time back home, grabbing a pint with them and being able to create those relationships. So, yeah, it warms my heart knowing you guys are still kicking it tough together.
I think, if anything, like it just brings me a lot of gratitude that you were able to create a setting where we became more than just teammates. And like I've only had that with two teams. It was Eurostar and my high school team.
Yeah.
And what's the reason for that? Because you played with them for so long.
Yes.
And then what also happens is the team that we lost to in the Final Four for our season, those kids had played together for probably since middle school,
Yep.
So not only do you establish relationships, but your team is actually better the longer that you play together. It's just that simple. You know each other's play style, chemistry is higher than every other squad. You're going to beat everybody.
Yep. That was my philosophy, that, I was looking around at these teams, like I said, that were put together new every year. I said, man, if we can get a group of guys that kind of see that and believe in that vision, we're going to be able to beat these other teams that on paper are more talented than us.
Right.
But we're going to have the chemistry. You're going to be able to give somebody the look. You're going to know what what Ryan Lowe's thinking or Jace is thinking coming down the court, before he even knows it sometimes. So it was such a fun time, great experience. You were a fun player to coach. You were a very enjoyable player to coach because you're always trying to learn, right? You said you came over there at AAU, it was your first time, but you were so hungry for the knowledge of the game. Now, it was probably one of the things that held you back a little bit because you were so cerebral and wanting to maybe at times overthink
all the time
things on the court. I'm like, Grant, will you just play basketball? Just go. What are you doing? You're calculating here, and it was one of those things where it was like, man, if Grant just could get in a flow and play, because you could do a lot of things. Lefties are always tough.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Surprise people.
You surprise people. Nobody plays defense against lefties.
No.
And then you got to come against one. You're like, you don't know what's going on.
Yeah, force you right.
That's awesome. It's like, hey, what's going on? Yeah. So it was, that double-edged sword of really enjoyable to coach, always focused, locked in, and then frustrating on the times when I was like, Grant, what are you doing? Just play basketball.
Yeah.
But no, it was really fun to see your growth even on the high school level, and the success that you guys had over at Northfield and stuff like that. It was fun.
It was fun. We're going to start with kind of where your basketball journey started. But before that, I just want to say, I think I could beat everyone one-on-one at this point.
Oh, this is being recorded now, right? This is, oh, yes.
Flip that.
Oh, gosh.
Bro. I've beat Ryan one-on-one countless times. Like,
I'm in for it. I'm ready to show up.
Yeah, you show up,
Central Park Rec. Now, I'm not going to play. I'll show up as the witness and be there.
Yeah.
Nobody's beating Sean Hanlon. Okay? No.
No, did you know, speaking of, I'm so happy I finally get to talk about basketball on this podcast.
Yeah.
Mostly, I never do get to talk just hoops, but I just injured my shoulder from Sean the other day.
How?
It was just the other day. So he told me and Ryan, and did you coach Cooper?
Yeah. Coop.
I was not there when
Coop's
Coop was
the final boss of frat bros up in CU these days. That's what I hear.
He's the president.
Oh, absolutely. Of course he is.
Coop is the man.
That's my guy.
So Sean was like, we need people to help scrimmage the East Girls team. So he recruits Ryan and me, and then a couple of our other buddies. We tried to get Ehud to come, and it was the last day of practice. I went 3 times, and I'm going up for a rebound, and like low-key, I'm busting my ass at this practice.
Yeah,
If I'm going,
dude's full sweat.
Everything I do at 100%. Like that's been my mindset. So I'm like boxing Sean out on this rebound, playing 3-on-3, or how you would say it, tray on tray.
Tray on tree, baby.
Tray on tree.
That's right.
And I go up and like hook his arms hooked on mine.
Right.
And so like my shoulder like pops out, like it didn't pop out of its socket, but it cracks.
Yeah.
And I've had this happen before, so I'm like holding it right here, and then it like slightly pops back, but yeah, that was from Sean.
Well, and it could have been from one of those East basketball girls, because they're no joke. They've got 6'6" over there. Yes. They got 6'3". Maraid. They got a big win yesterday down in the Springs.
Who'd they play?
They played
first game,
Pike, right? Pike.
Okay.
Some Pike school. They won by 4 points. But they've got a serious
They have a crazy
squad.
Roster.
Yeah.
But I was so disappointed the 6'6" Serbian girl wasn't at practice.
Oh, she wasn't there?
I wanted the smoke.
Oh, I don't know if you want, because she's all 6'6".
Yeah, she averages, 11 blocks a
She's
game?
all 6'6". Yes, yeah.
Plus the wingspan, it's dangerous. But
She's
I'm
no
trying
joke.
to work on the Braun fade, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Like 1, 2, fade.
Bang.
But, she's not there, so it's...
So you didn't get really a chance to use that fade?
No. Plus with the girls' ball, oh my gosh. Ryan and I were broke. Oh my gosh. Broke.
Rilo.
It's just funny you mentioned Sean, because he just injured me. So.
Nice. I'll have to, next time I talk to him, I'll bring that up.
But I did ask him to get into the Sunday runs.
Sunday runs exclusive. You heard about it.
That's what he told me.
Yeah, I can talk.
He said there's a list of people waiting to join that.
This is a run. Before I talk about my background in basketball, the Sunday runs that Grant's talking about. It's a run that has been going on for about 3 decades.
Oh,
so over 30 years. Yeah, and it's dudes that Chauncey Billups, Earl Boykins, Jimmer Fredette, 2 guys that just played high school basketball. But the text goes out on a Saturday. Mm-hmm. The first 15 to respond are in.
Wow.
So an example, last Saturday, text went out within 2 minutes. First 15 are in, and then there was 5 people on the wait list.
Wow. That is crazy.
Yeah. And it's we got our commissioner, Big Greek. He's the one that sends out the text every Sunday, even if he's not playing. But it's a great group of guys. The camaraderie is unbelievable, the brotherhood that we have there. So it's been real special.
That is great because you get to continue to play.
Correct.
And find that team, the same team chemistry thing that we were talking about.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow. Well, okay, let's go back to the beginning. How
Okay.
did you start playing basketball? Let's talk about what the game meant to you when you were playing overseas.
Yeah, so like that, I grew up in Dublin, Ireland. My father, originally from Chicago, he got recruited to go play basketball in Ireland back in the early 80s.
Okay.
So he had graduated college. And here in the States, it was a time where if you weren't kind of making the NBA, you were kind of going to work at Sears, right? There wasn't the G League like it is now. Europe wasn't as small where you're going overseas. So you had a lot of really good basketball players that were just working regular jobs. Well, there was a chap from Ireland saw my dad in Chicago and said, "Hey, you ever think about playing basketball in Ireland?" So they went over in the early 80s, and that's where me and all my siblings were born. I got 3 brothers, 1 sister. So we grew up playing basketball in Ireland, which is a smaller country, especially at the time, for, the popularity of basketball. But it was just a great experience. Play for the Irish national team from the youth level to the men's, which was a great opportunity to go travel and see the world and play against some, really good basketball players. And I remember lining up against Zaza Pachulovic, and we're on the free throw line, and I'm just looking at the size of his foot, and it was like 2 of my feet. I was like, "Well, that's a big foot."
It's wild.
Yeah, that was a wild game too. And then getting the opportunity to come here to the States. I always wanted to come to America, play basketball. My older brother had done it. My 2 older brothers had done it. So we want to kind of follow in their footsteps. And that's where the best basketball was being played. So the men's team that I was playing with, it's semi-pro. So I would have been playing as a senior in high school, but not getting paid. But our professionals that came over, one had graduated from Brown University, Mike Martin, the current head coach at Brown, and then Colin Tabb, who's now the current head coach at over at New England, Western New England. So those were the 2 schools, and Colin had graduated from Trinity College.
Okay.
So Brown and Trinity were the 2 schools that recruited me. Brown looked at the resume, they saw a smiley face and, a couple of numbers, and they're like, "I don't know how to read this." I was like, "Don't worry about it, I'm good." No, it worked out over to get in, play some basketball at Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut. My brother was going to Colby College, which is in the same conference, so that was fun. Got to play against him.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then played overseas for the Leicester Riders professionally, which was a really fun experience because my older brother Isaac, who was playing on that team as well. So we got to play together again and make a little money and have some fun, and that's kind of the basketball career.
That is crazy.
Yeah,
it's so many different chapters of it.
Yeah, yeah.
If you had to pick one team that you enjoyed playing for the most, what would you say?
Great question. I was fortunate enough that all my club, high school, even professionally in college, we all had very good basketball teams. So it was always pretty successful teams. But it was probably kind of going back to club, being under like 13, under 14. We had a sponsorship, which was like a 10p chocolate bar.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. It was, our coach, Jimmy Bean at the time, we'd meet at the shops because we would have to travel to all these different, gyms, and he'd have a bag of the chocolates.
Yeah.
So, and we had a very good team too.
Yeah.
It was, I don't think we lost a game that year. My brother was on the team, and John Bean and some other really good basketball players. But it was just this, I remember that chocolate bar was pretty enticing.
So
and
every practice?
Every games, only games.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was only the games we got the bars. But that was a really fun time and a really fun team to play with. And then probably close second place, college is tough, right? Because college, we had some of my best friends are, from my teammates from college and everything else. And we had some really good years there playing. But, college is mental, and everything else. And it's like, oh yeah, I played basketball in college too. But another really fun team was that Leicester Riders team that I got to play with my
Yeah.
older brother Isaac with. Talented guys, playing at a high level, getting to live together right after college. Our responsibility was to play basketball and go lift weights, and
It's pretty awesome.
what a time to
With
be
your
alive.
brother too.
That's right.
Wow.
That's right.
Because you played with them for I was on the LinkedIn. Don't worry.
Oh, good,
Like
good, good.
little over a year.
Yeah.
Okay.
With the year with the Leicester Riders, I was looking to go after playing in England. I wanted to go play in France
Okay.
because I always wanted to learn French.
Yeah.
I took it in high school, but I'm not the biggest, the best learner in the classroom setting. I like to immerse myself.
Yeah.
And I always wanted to immerse myself in that like French kind of culture, and I wanted to learn it that way. But my agent at the time, the things that he had available for me, it was like Iceland, England, a couple other spots that I was like, well, no, I don't want to do that, especially because my brother wasn't going to be there.
Right.
It was either France or I'm coming to Colorado, baby, and I'm learning how to shred the gnar.
Which did you learn how to do
I
that?
sure did.
We were just saying, can you ski blacks? Like, are you a good skier?
First of all, I'm a shredder, so I'm on the snowboards. Okay.
Oh, okay,
All right, let's
okay.
get that right.
Yeah.
And then second of all, I have been on a black, but they're not as enjoyable as the blues for
I
me.
agree.
So I'm a blues kind of guy.
I like snowboarding.
Yeah.
I did it for the first time last winter.
Did you
fall on your
liked
ass
it?
quite a
Oh,
bit.
absolutely.
It's crazy.
A ton.
It's crazy, but it is cooler. Like it is better. Than skiing.
Absolutely cooler. Hence why
Yeah.
I did snowboarding.
That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think I ever knew this, but why was Colorado the destination? You're coming from England, and a lot of people
yeah.
don't even understand, like, why Colorado? Why is that the target?
Yeah, great question. As I mentioned, I was fortunate enough, especially playing with the Irish national team, to get to travel a lot, right? So I got to go see a lot of just different European countries, and then being here in the States for college, and getting to travel around in the States, that I got to see a lot of places. And my brother had done a foreign exchange student. My brother Isaac had done a foreign exchange student in Colorado. I was doing one in Ohio at the time, so
Okay.
I would have been a sophomore in high school. So I came out to visit him, and I was like, oh. I realized I got in the short end of the straw. You know what I mean? I was like,
yeah.
Ohio,
Ohio.
Colorado. You know what I mean?
Very different,
Little
yeah.
different here. And then he had met his wife, so he got married in Colorado too. I'd made a good friend, so I'd come out to visit my friend in Colorado. And every time I came out here, it was always sunny. The people I met were good people, and you had these amazing mountains. And I always told people I could never see myself living in America just because it's very different culturally than Ireland in a sense. But I always said I could never live in America except Colorado.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I always tell people, especially people from Colorado, they're always thinking about
Other places.
other places. Grass is greener on the other side. I'm like, it's not.
It's not.
It's not.
Once you leave, you realize how special it is.
It's an unbelievable spot.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. Even just, I miss the mountains.
The mountains.
The view, the people are always,
Good people,
Great
right?
people.
You got people from all over. I feel
Yeah.
like we attract people from, whatever state you're coming from. But the ones that stay here are like, oh, it's a little bit more chill. People are a little bit more genuine than you might get on the West Coast, and East Coast known to be a little bit more focused and
Mean.
who's your daddy? You know what I mean? What
Yeah.
can you do for me? Kind of deal.
Yeah.
We're over here. It's more about, what do you like to do? You
Yeah.
like to snowboard? You like to ski? You like to hike? You drink beers? You know what I mean? That's my style. So that's why I chose Colorado.
Yeah, it makes sense because, I don't know, there's been so many surveys taken about how friendly the people are here. It's one of just in general, people are nicer here than the average state, I
Yeah,
would say.
yeah.
But I also have found that in Tennessee.
Oh, I bet.
That Southern hospitality
Oh,
is
absolutely.
crazy.
I've
How
heard.
you doing, honey?
Yeah.
What can I do for you? Yeah, like they're special out there too, but I miss coming here. So it makes sense that you settled.
Now that Southern hospitality, have you been taking advantage of it? You hanging
does
out
that
with?
mean to you?
No, I'm just saying. Like, have
advantage of
you the hospitality? People are
Yeah.
very hospitable there. Tennessee, they've got a good social scene there.
Yeah.
I feel.
Are we talking about girls? Are you being like? Are you
Hey,
not
hey,
trying to-
we can talk. But yeah, sure, that's a great question. Yeah, you got yourself a girlfriend there in college,
Yeah,
or
I mean, listen, I think I want to find someone in Tennessee, but I haven't found that person yet.
okay,
And a lot of the people are coming from out of state. So, the girls that I'm talking to, they're from Jersey and all these,
ooh,
like, they're feisty, bro.
careful,
They're
man,
kinda, yeah,
careful,
you have to
careful
be.
with those Jersey
Bro,
girls.
they're like low
Okay,
key mean sometimes.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
we'll keep chugging along and see. Hopefully I'll have a better update for you
Okay,
next
yeah,
at
you
the
got
end
to
of next semester.
keep me in
It
the.
is fun though, man.
Yeah.
It's surprise. I'm just very grateful that I found a school that fits me.
Yes.
And I think Tennessee fit me for the weather, for the sports. Like I wanted to be around that, and it's great because I have two beautiful homes. Like being
Yeah.
able to go back to school and have an amazing time there, and then come back here and reconnect with people that are special to me here, and then also live in this amazing state.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing.
And was that right away from the get go that when you were there as freshman, first semester, it was like, this is the spot for me? Or was there a kind of,
Yeah, there's
ooh,
always been a little bit of doubt. Like there was never doubt, but I always realized the differences that I have compared to other people.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're coming from Colorado, you're going to a southern school. There's going to be political views that just will never line up.
yeah,
So that part is something that's a little bit more clear, like the types of people you're around. But like I was immediately close with all the guys that were on my dorm floor.
yeah,
There were probably like 15 of us that all like got along and were constantly seeing each other, and that was so special.
yes.
To have that. So immediately I found people that were really special and genuine, just like they are here, and that made it feel like home.
That's
and then you
huge.
have frickin' football, 101,000 person arena. Like it's just fun.
Yes.
But I wanted to go. We'll go back to basketball for a little bit longer.
Okay.
I want to hear the differences between the European game and the American game. It's something that I've listened to on Mind the Game.
Okay.
Do you know that podcast?
Who's that now? Remind
It's
me.
LeBron and Steve
JJ?
Nash.
Oh, Steve
It
Nash.
used to be
Okay.
JJ and LeBron. Now it's
So what I'll hear, like, a lot of times they're clippets, right?
Yep.
So I
Yep.
don't I can't say that I sit down and listen to the whole thing, but a lot of times their clippets are popping up on my social feed, or my brother is sending me, oh, did you see what LeBron said, or see what Steve said, and two great minds of the game. But it's the nice thing about the European game and the American game, everybody's seeing it now
right
because the NBA, right?
the talent's being shown now.
It's shown now because
better.
all these guys that are coming in are all from Europe. Back in the day, it was, you get a handful of Europeans and stuff like that. But it's the game of basketball has become more and more popular in Europe, and people have caught up to the talent level as well. And we're seeing it with guys, like Giannis and like Luka and Wemby and some of the top names in the NBA
Yes.
are coming from that, European side, or it's I see a lot of it just from, and I'm sure they talk about this in the podcast too, Steve and LeBron, that here in the States on the AAU club scene, it's one practice, 5 games. Right, we're traveling. We're gonna play 6 games this weekend, and we might go practice a day or two over the week. Where growing up, you were practicing 3, 4, 5 days a week, and you're going over pick and rolls in the whole practice. Right, you're going over how do you defend the post, the full front, 3/4. The real detail side of things, and I always say, the American game has always been more athletic, right? Played above the rim and things like that. But you're seeing these guys that are dominating, Jokic and Luka and things like that, and it's the fundamentals. It's the footwork. It's the piece that you enjoy, seeing how cerebral, where Jokic is just 10 steps ahead of everybody else.
Right.
Has nothing to do with his speed. It's just understanding the game. But a lot of it, I would say, just comes down to practice. There's just more hours spent practicing the fundamentals back in Europe.
Okay, so that's why that's the difference between all these European players coming in. They've simply just practiced the game differently.
They've just practiced the game differently.
And better.
Yeah.
Like the simple things that matter.
The simple things that matter. You know what's a lot more fun? To go out, get shots up, and scrimmage.
Right.
That's more fun as a player, right, and everything else. But is it as beneficial as going over shell drill and we're working on defensive principles? And I'm stopping practice and I'm going through saying you're 2 passes away, so why are you over here, and so on and so forth. How are we going to help if he drives this side, and so on and so forth. That's not as fun, but that's what's required for, to get that true understanding of the game in a
Right.
sense. And I just feel like here in the States, it's there's a lot more reliant on the athleticism of players. The skill level of players here is very high. So, especially with the increase in personal training that you see. So, the stuff that these young kids are doing now,
crazy.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like, wait, what did he do?
Yeah.
Like, he's in and out behind the back and like fade away. And that's a very comfortable shot for this person.
Right.
Like, so the skill level is really high. But when it comes to that 5v5 and that real true understanding of the game, and we're going to get to have a really good look again here in 2028 LA Olympics.
It's gonna be. Oh,
It's
gonna get tougher
gonna
and tougher.
get tough, and I gotta say it too because I've said it before. I think LeBron is staying. Because we were talking about LeBron, he's gonna make his farewell announcement to 2027-2028 season.
Okay.
Gives him a chance to play with Brycey.
Okay.
He gets to do his farewell tour to the NBA
Right.
on each game, and then he finishes it on the international stage in LA
Man.
with the Olympics.
And hopefully a gold medal.
And hopefully a gold
That would
medal.
be like, he's not going. That would be the worst if you did the whole farewell tour and then you get a silver. Like, he doesn't accept that.
He doesn't love it, but it's part
Very
of the
possible.
production as well. Like LeBron has been, even more so about, he's such a good basketball player. But I think there's an element of this legacy that is even more than basketball, how it kind of plays out. So bar any injury, I'm predicting 2027, 2028 is going to be his farewell tour. He's going to announce it, kind of like Kobe, and everybody's going to know, and you get a chance to go see him one more time. And then his last basketball will be the Olympics, 2028. He'll be UNC status.
Yep.
So
Already is.
Yeah, he's already UNC status kind of thing.
Yeah.
But dude, Steph will still be there. KD's gonna be there, and then you'll have guys like Jaylen Brown and Ant-Man, kind of really JT exactly doing the heavy lifting. But
Man, it'll be so exciting.
wait
to
till you
that.
see.
Yeah.
We're
Put
going
that
back.
up.
We're gonna
We'll remember this.
Yeah.
Okay, so having said all of that with the European game, and you've also you threw some of that into our practices.
Yeah.
So like we did the shell drill.
Yeah.
You threw the actual fundamental pieces into our practices, which I think is very interesting now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
But between coaching and playing, is there a preference for you on that side? Because with coaching, you get to see the players develop, but playing, it's all in your control. So talk about that dynamic a little
Yeah,
bit.
for playing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. As a player, it's why I still play on a Sunday morning and I have to deal with the sore knees on a Monday and Tuesday and stuff like that, because playing the game of basketball brings me joy. And it's the competition piece that's there.
Yeah.
It's something I've always enjoyed. The camaraderie piece that's there. It's something that I've always enjoyed. And it's a game.
Yeah.
Right? So getting to play that, it's just that's going to be number one for me. On the coaching side, what brings me joy on the coaching is it wasn't about the wins or losses, really. It was more about being able to stay in contact with the kind of family dynamic that we are able to create at Eurostar. And I still have that. So I'm not coaching anymore, but I'm here with you.
Yeah.
I saw Ryan Lowe at the Nuggets game. I was hanging out with Julia Lowe for lunch the other day. I see Jake Hanlon, maybe at his house because I'm popping off on him, So I get to stay in connection with you guys, and that's the important piece for me with the coaching side. So I still kind of have
You get
that.
some of that,
I still
yeah.
kind of get that, but I still get to play on a Sunday. And if I could go back and, be in my early 20s
Yeah.
again and keep playing At that level, I absolutely would.
You're
Yeah.
living the best of both worlds, though. Still
I
being able
am.
to play, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's what I would want to do when
Absolutely.
I'm not unk, but early 30s.
Early 30s.
Yeah.
Early 30s, not unk.
That's
Early
right.
30s, not unk.
Okay, and here's the biggest question I have for you. I think even from my time playing basketball, like it is very much shaped who I am. And you know, at Tennessee they do like a strengths test at the very beginning. They do your top 5 strengths, and my number 1 strength is competition. And like, why is that
nice.
so? Because I've played against my teammates. I've played the game for so long where it's taught me things. So what has it taught you if you had to pick one thing? Like, what really stuck with you that the game has taught you outside of the court?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's, it's my answer is probably the boring answer, which is hard work. And it's that piece of anything you want, you can go, get it, but you're going to have to work hard for it.
Definitely.
Right? And the nice thing about sports in general and basketball for us, it was seeing that progression, right? I didn't get a chance to play for the Irish international team because I loved the game of basketball,
Right.
you know what I mean? Or because I'm 6, just because, oh, he's tall, so you get to do this. I put a lot of time into it, right? I was fortunate enough that I really enjoyed playing it, so I didn't mind putting that time in. But that all translates and correlates to the real world, whether it's relationships, whether it's the work environment, aspirations and goals that you have set for yourself, whatever it might be, you have to work on it. And I think it's easier for people in sports to be able to translate that over because they've done the early morning and they've done the 2-a-days,
Yeah.
and they've seen the results, right, of when they had started to where they were finishing up. And it's like, oh, yeah, this does work because I used to suck. I was terrible, So I would just say, yeah, it's that work piece is the biggest transition over and kind of character builder that I'm very fortunate and thankful that I had because of my time in basketball.
Yeah. Wow, that is amazing.
Yeah.
And I think it translates too with other sports.
Absolutely.
I think there is something to that. Like, if you don't play a sport in your entire life, there is an element of that work that you might be missing. But the last thing I want to touch on with basketball directly relates to what you just said. You might be wondering why I have this shitty little ball right here covered in this net. Well, the reason I framed or got a case for this ball is because it resembles exactly what you just touched on. So I remember this was like 2 or 3 summers ago. We had a net up on the outdoor hoop. And I remember I would invite Ryan and Jake and Mason. I would say, hey, come over and let's shoot around. And after one of the times where we were shooting around, one of the threads of the net came off. And so then I was like, oh, like we kept shooting, as the weeks went by, more threads kept coming off. And I was like, Ryan, we got to get this net off by the end of the summer. Like, we got to shoot enough times to like break the net.
Love it.
So we would just like probably every day, every other day, we're trying to shoot from certain angles to try and get every thread to break off. And eventually, like at the very end of the summer, probably 2 or 3 weeks before it ended, dude, we were trying crazy shit. Like, we were throwing the ball in water so that it had more weight, so that you could get more force on the net when you're shooting. Like, it was a process.
Yeah.
But it was like we were working at it, and we wanted the net to come off. So then eventually, when it did, it was like, well, this ball and this net resembles that if you put work at something, it will happen.
Yeah.
And it was just, it's for most people it might seem stupid, it might seem silly, but that meant something to me, is that like we spent the time to do that, and it was not easy towards the end.
Yes.
When your net is hanging by 3 threads, you really have to get like a perfect swish to even target that part of the net. Like,
how long did it take you guys?
I mean, so long, dude.
Yeah.
So long. Hours and hours and hours. But
I love that.
it was I think that kind of relates to what you just said about just working at something, making it happen.
I love that.
Shout out the ball, man.
Shout out the ball, baby.
Okay, so now let's relate that work piece, like the hard work piece, into what you're doing now with real estate. So what was the translation like? How do you go from being an AAU coach to starting your own agency or getting into that field?
Yeah, in general, us Irish, we love real estate
Okay.
in general.
Okay.
So just like if you ever meet any Irish person, especially if they're older, and you ask, they're always down to talk real estate.
Yeah.
It just is what it
Interesting.
is. Yeah. And probably the catalyst for me on the real estate side of things is when I bought my house here close to 12 years ago. That got me kind of really looking into this whole thing and checking it out on the Zillow, researching the different like tax strategies and all this other stuff that was involved. I was like, oh, this is super, super interesting. So I had been working also, besides coaching the Eurostar, I was working over at Children's Hospital, and I was in mental health there for over a decade. And it was kind of post-COVID, which was really tough in the healthcare side of things. There was a lot of burnout for people. And actually what I saw was this dream job that I had working in mental health, working with young adults. Part of it was because I had a dream team. So, and after 2020, some of that dream team went into free agency. And I'm looking around, and they were being replaced with scrubs. It was kind of like LeBron with the Cavs when he had Delonte West was his go-to. I think SNL did a skit. We're the other guys. Okay, that's how I felt.
Yeah.
All right. And I realized, like, okay, maybe time for me to make a transition. And I've always been a person, I can only do things that I enjoy. So, like I said, I used to play professional basketball. I used to bartend back in Ireland. I bartended here in Denver at Fidel Irish Pub. Worked as a host at the Yard House. Did some catering as well. And then, like I said, on the career side, worked 11 years in mental health, which I loved. And I loved real estate, so it was an easy transition to be like, okay, time to go do this other thing that I'd already kind of talked about and had planned to do beforehand, but I was kind of busy with everything else. So it kind of, it was the easy transition for me to do that. So I got my license May 2022.
Okay.
And in the real estate game here was kind of when things changed a bit.
Yeah.
It was right when interest rates took a shift up. A lot of people got out of the real estate game then. But I always told people it was the perfect time because when you're in the trenches and there's just dirt in your face but you're in the trenches, you just keep on going.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's only going to get easier.
And who else is doing it?
Exactly.
Everyone left the trenches.
Everybody left because, this is difficult and yada, yada. And like, so for me, and even just what we just talked about, that work piece and understand, I think that was one thing I had coming into the industry is understanding that it was going to be hard work. My industry is a reality show now. And from the Netflix shows, it looks really fun and really easy and really good money in it and stuff like that. But I think it's about 80% of real estate agents don't make it to year 2.
Wow.
Yeah. So you get your license and then
nothing, man.
Then it's, I'm out of here because they kind of went in with false pretenses, not thinking it was going to be easy.
Right.
And then realizing like, oh, it's not the case. So
you have your own agency now.
Yes.
Correct? Okay.
So I run an agency with my partner, Shauna Pugh. So we set up our own brokerage. It's the two of us. My wife kind of handles the business strategy side of things. So I look at it as that kind of perfect triangle where I've got my wife at the top. She kind of tells me and Shauna how to keep things going. My partner, Sean, has been in the industry for 15 plus years, was a team lead, managing broker at previous brokerage before. And it was something that I also know about myself, and it comes from team sports as well, is, I never played golf. I didn't grow up playing tennis. I wasn't an individual kind of guy.
Right.
I understood the value of having teammates and seeing the value that other people brought. And, Yeah, my wife is really, really good at what she does. I didn't know that until I started working with her.
Right.
And I was like, oh, shit, you're really good at this, you know?
Yeah.
And then my partner, Shauna, I'm fortunate enough that she is really good and likes doing a lot more of the back end stuff and the things that I don't necessarily enjoy doing as much.
Right.
And so it's a really good kind of partnership relationship, and we've been fortunate enough to see growth in our business year
Yeah.
after year.
Would you say you have your dream team?
I've got my dream team,
Right
baby.
back at
I've
it
got our
again. Let's
dream
go.
team right back at it again. So
Okay, so one thing that I've heard from, I think it was Ryan, was the amount of, like, your role almost is to go network with people, to go talk to people, to make them aware of who you are, what you do. What touch on the importance of networking, not just within real estate, but
yeah,
for people probably in my position and people trying to get into a specific industry.
yeah, it's huge, and I didn't know the importance of it. And I think at a younger age, when you see people, and it might be your folks and things like that are going to play golf, and it's like he's going to work and but he's on the golf course, or he's going to this event and things like that. It seemed as if it was just like he's not really working in a sense. And I was fortunate that for me personally, you know, one of your strengths that you said at Tennessee you took, and it was like competition is something that's really big for you. Well, I know for me, one of the things that brings me joy is relationships and connecting. So I'm a very good connector with people. So the networking side of things, it was something that I kind of was already doing with it without knowing I was doing it, but it wasn't from a business standpoint, because networking when you work at a children's hospital,
Right.
there is no business side of it. It's, hey, come on over here. I've got something for you, you know. But when I got into the real estate industry and I realized the importance of it, and I was talking to a buddy of mine. He just ran for city council in Littleton. Merrill Stillwell, shout out Merrill. And I was talking to him one time, and I was saying this when I first got into the industry. And I said, yeah, no, I realized that the relationship piece of it, it's probably like, 70%. And he's like, Aaron, it's like 90%. And it was, I was like, oh, that always kind of stuck with me, where I'm like, I can do that piece because
Yeah.
I already do it. And then just getting to see how it works, from just the work side of things. So, at times it's going to an event that maybe I'm tired and I don't want to actually go to, but hey, this is a good opportunity because I'm going to get to connect with maybe some of my former clients. And it's always with the foundation of wanting to help people. And that was something that I had to kind of get past initially, because I never wanted to be a situation of, I'm going to this event to try to get business.
Right.
I'm talking to this person because I want to sell their house or help them buy a house. And it was another friend of mine that's kind of similar industry, and was saying, as long as your foundation is that you want to be there to help people, you don't have to worry about that, Aaron. And I was like, oh, that was a weight lifted off my shoulders, because I thought maybe I'm going to have to get out of this industry,
Right.
And, but it's just huge. I can't, I would say you're either going to be like a rocket scientist. I get out of school and I've studied something very particular, and this is the path you take, or you're going to get a job in an industry because of people that you know.
Right.
And that's that networking side of things. And it's countless stories that I can think of, friends of mine that had a lot of success in their industries and entrepreneurs and stuff like that. I'm like, how did you get into that? Oh, was my college buddy. How'd you get into? Oh, I met this person and I mentored under this person, and I met this person over here and we did this. And how'd you get this deal? Oh, somebody mentioned something over here and I knew that this person was looking for something, so I connected the two of them, and so on and so forth. And it's it's huge. So the network side, even for you guys right now, I know you're on LinkedIn. that stuff is huge.
Yeah.
The fact of being able to, the old schoolers, they love a good handshake. They love a good phone call.
Yeah.
You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
They love engaging that way. And say the baby boom squad out there, a lot of them made their money, right? They're kind of ready to kind of chill a little
Yep.
bit, but you want to feel useful. They love mentoring. So a lot of times it's like just even reaching out to people you think would never connect because, oh no, they're too busy or they are too important. Reaching out to them and saying, hey, would you be willing to jump on my podcast? Would you be willing to, answer a couple of questions for me? You'd be surprised at how open people are. And that's a networking skill of just, being willing to
Yeah.
do things like that.
Cold outreach.
Call, yes. Yeah.
It's important. But
it is.
the other thing that I've mentioned, even on my show, is, I proposed the question as networking, but I don't like the term because it kind of puts pressure on it for me. But what it is connecting. What you're
Yes.
good at is
Yeah.
just connecting with people. It's
Yeah.
not networking. Seems like there's a selfish intent, which you were saying. I could see how that could be a struggle because if you're going into it with, oh, I need to connect with this person for me, when it's really for us, it can be
Yes.
beneficial for both parties.
Yes.
I think that's a better mindset. But for people that, and like even for me, I think I'm good at it, but I can always be better. How do you make connections with people? What do you lead with? Do you go into it with like go with the flow, or is there something you do intentionally?
It's great question, and it's interesting because I had read a book here. It's called How to Win Friends and Influence People, and
Okay.
people had always mentioned it and things like that. And I was like, well, I better read this New York Times bestseller,
Right.
and especially for entrepreneurs and salespeople and things like that. And I'm reading this book, and the book is like, ask them about their family, ask them about, be genuinely interested in them, and I'm like, duh, well, of course.
Right.
And I was thinking to myself, well, this book would never sell in Ireland. You know what I mean? Because the Irish are just sound in general and care about people.
Right.
And I would say that's the number one piece of, like, if you genuinely care about people, you're going to be able to network easy. It's going to be easier for you. If it's, and when I say care about people, my partner, she's an empath, which means I was telling her about this lobster dinner that I had last week. You know what she tells me? Lobsters feel pain. Like, and she's dead serious.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm telling her about the stray dogs in Costa Rica, and she's like, oh, they're stray. I'm like, they're fine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Juancito was hanging out, getting some scraps, at our dinner table. That's the dog that we call him Juancito. But certain people feel bigger, and it's just more natural to them. Other people are naturally really good connectors in a sense. There's other people that they need to have a little bit more, say, strategy behind it. And that's where this book comes in, when I realized, oh, not everybody is maybe like us that enjoy connecting and get joy out of connecting. And it's not that they don't like people in a sense, it's just not as natural. So one of the things that people would use in sales and, real estate is the Ford questions. Have you heard of Ford?
No.
So it's, you're at a networking event or you're with somebody and you're trying to create, this conversation going. What's the easiest way, as opposed to saying, oh, the weather out there? It's Ford stands for family, occupation, recreation, and your dreams. So kind of checking in with people, like, asking about, hey, how's your dad been? What's been going on with him and your mom, and then what's work been like for you? And then recreation, any trips planned and things like that. And then the dreams part might be, what's the next move and what are you kind of thinking about? And it's because people enjoy talking about themselves. That's just a fact, right?
Yep.
A lot of times. And those are questions that are asked that at times can get people to get a little deeper and easier to connect. So if I was giving some advice to somebody that, it's not necessarily the most natural for them, in a networking environment, think forward.
I love that.
Ask about their family, occupation, relationships, and their dreams.
Dang, this semester gonna be good, bro.
Oh, hey, this dude about to be networking.
I'm pulling that out the bag for sure. Well, that is a really good way to go about it because, yeah, you're touching on multiple different aspects of life that people like to talk about. So it makes sense.
Absolutely. And like we said, when there's having that genuine interest there in it, it gives a little bit of a guideline, right? As I'm going into somewhere, it's like, okay, yeah, let me check in here on these. It doesn't work when I say, how's your dad? What's work going on? Like, any trips lately? And you're like, okay, let me answer the question there. And so just like the book, genuinely care about the response.
Right. Because you're only doing half the battle. You can ask the question and walk away.
Correct.
You could forward everybody.
I could forward everybody.
Just go away.
Yeah, you just got forwarded. You got forwarded.
Anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so you have to actually, make the eye contact. This girl lives on the same floor of my apartment.
Okay.
She's
okay.
Okay. We've networked the floor.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
She does door-to-door sales, and so I went out and shadowed her in the Springs for a day, and she's doing door-to-door window sales, which is it's not easy. So for me, what I've discovered is it's not for me. But what I learned from her is mirroring, which is, if someone else, like, mirroring how they're talking to you, do they have are they speaking to you more sternly? Like, can you mirror that because they might respond to that? Or are they speaking to you more really openly and kind? Then mirror that or mirror their head nods.
Yes.
And so, like, all this stuff that she's telling me, it's just, there's a lot to social interaction.
Yes.
But the little things, Matt, like, even though you can break it down into a million things, but eye contact and caring about someone else's response, I think is probably, it's so important.
And that door-to-door is such a great experience because you're dealing with rejection.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, if you can deal with rejection, especially at a young age, in a sense, where a lot of times you're looking for approval, it goes a long way, especially if you're going down that sales route. Right. So it's, your friend, hats off to her.
Yeah.
My question to her would be, because I got the Windows people come to me.
Oh, yeah.
And I never knew how expensive Windows were until I had one of those people come in. Right. Yeah, actually, I do need some new Windows, and, let's have a look at this. And you're looking at the price tag, and I'm like, oh, actually, I'm going to wait until the bank account looks a little different. But I always talk to the people that knock on my door. I kind of let them do their pitch and things like that. And I was saying it to actually one of my clients. He just bought his first investment property, 18 years old.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. He's an animal.
Yeah.
Mo Masters, shout out Mo Masters, runs his own landscaping and maintenance company.
Wow.
But when I said it to him, he likes somebody just shutting him down because in his mind, he's getting onto the next. He's efficient. As opposed to my mindset was, well, I want her to, I'm not saying yes kind of thing. It's a no. But I also understand how sucky it is to get the door slammed in your face and somebody no. So it'd be interesting to see, does she enjoy somebody like me that's going to entertain her, even though I'm not buying the window?
Right.
Or does she just want me to tell her no?
Because it's a rep. At the end
absolutely.
Of the day.
It's a rep. But you want to get your reps in.
I think if I was just starting and someone's giving me the time of day, that's probably better for me because I'm being practiced.
Yeah.
But, man, if she's been doing it for 2 years now, so she has enough reps where she'd probably prefer the door to be shut.
Yeah.
But that's a great question for her. She does really well in it. And
that's great.
Like, she made, $50,000 over last summer doing this? Like, she knows what she's doing. So it was great to even just a day, just to see how it was.
Yeah.
To see that, yes, I could do it, but like you said, I wouldn't love to do it. So that's why I'm not going to.
So did you go with her door to door?
Yes, I did. So we saw the rejection full.
Oh,
that was the last day they were in the Springs. So they had to get an appointment the day of. Okay. That was the goal.
Okay.
You need to convince someone to book an appointment the day of. And that's not our job. They come in and close the deal, right?
Yes.
And that's just hard to do, bro. So we didn't get anything that day.
Yeah.
It was just straight do you have a business card or no? And it was good to see that because that's the real world.
Yep.
But at the same time, she's so confident, so prepared in her pitch, and so a lot was taken out of that.
Nice.
For sure.
No, that's brilliant. Like I said, even just for you to go there and to experience that and to be like, yeah, that's not gonna be me.
Yeah.
But you can, even knowing that, like I said, she made like 50K over
Yeah.
summertime. You know it works, but it's not for you.
Yep, and that's important.
Yeah, there's people that still door knock on real estate in a sense.
Wow.
And I did that early on in
How
my
did
career.
that work out?
I did it early on because it's a proven method.
Mm-hmm.
If you do it consistently, people get to know you, and it's gonna work. But when I was like, oh, before I got my license, I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go door knock. I like talking to people and blah blah blah. And then I realized, like, oh, this rejection thing kind of sucks. Like, I don't mind rejection, but like this amount of it,
Yeah.
like in one day, and everything else, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'm gonna do some more digital door knocking.
Mm-hmm.
Hence, bringing in social media. People getting to see what you're doing, so it's nearly like a digital door knock.
I like that way better.
Yeah.
Because then it's in the comfort of your own home.
Exactly.
Or whatever. You can't mess up the pitch because it's edited.
Boom, baby. Yep.
So that is very interesting. But the other thing I wanted to lead into with real estate is you started your own thing that you have going on.
Yep.
You started Eurostar.
Yep.
So talk about the difficulties of starting something, of being an entrepreneur and starting your own thing. Because that's, man, so many businesses fail.
Yeah, I would say it's, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, was here in America, I say, Americans love to think that they're number one in everything. They're the greatest at every single thing they do. It's why they play in the World Series, even though it's just here, okay? And they're the world champions.
All right.
And I'm like, actually, you might not need to look at that. But there are certain things that America definitely is, the best in. And number one, and one of the things that I mention to people a lot of times is this is the number one capitalist society in the world. And a lot of times people hear that word capitalism and there's a negative connotation to it, especially, say, long-term capitalism, where you're seeing the wealth divide happening in this country in a sense. So there's plenty of things that you can nitpick on and say what's not right. But because it is the number one capitalist society in the world, it's a lot easier to actually create something out of nothing. And partially just because of the, access to money, if you need funds to create what you're going to do, and just how things are set up and the ease of it, right? I can set up a LLC here in 20 minutes, right? Aaron and Grant LLC. Whatever that's gonna be,
Let's go.
And exactly. Sole partners in it and things like that. So things are set up in this country to move efficiently, and like I said, whether it's on the business side of things, the access to funds and that kind of side of things. So when it came to setting up, say, Eurostar, one of the big things for me was also, and I touched on it with regards to having the right people in place and the team. I couldn't have done Eurostar on my own. My wife was a big piece in the background. The parent support that we had from people like Sean Hanlon and John Fitch created the website, and the coaches that we had in it, in a sense, Chris Dixon and Coach Montoya and David Babineau, where I knew, and I'm very good at as well, say, outsourcing where it needed to be done. I'm very good at creating the vision and then finding the people that I need to have this vision come to fruition.
Right.
And so same thing with the real estate side of things. I knew that I can do this thing on my own / create a brokerage, as long as I had the right people in place as well. So it's, if I had to say, like, for me, it's just understanding and be able to see the value that others bring, And some other people, like you might be, the other person might be the person that's super organized and is good on the back end admin stuff. And that person might have an idea, and you bring somebody else that you know is a better visionary. So it's like, hey, you mentioned that idea to somebody, and that person is the one that's going to be able to take that idea and really see the vision and where it goes. And that person is moving that vision down the road, and you're the one in the back that is keeping it,
Right.
going on. And yeah, there's, especially with AI now and stuff, like you can create a website in a few days,
Oh yeah.
and you don't even have to create new ideas.
No.
It's not recreated wheel. You can take something that's already out there and just market it better,
Right.
And I'm not good with all that kind of stuff, but
Do you think it'll affect your business?
yes. Yeah, I think technology continues to affect most industries. The only industry it doesn't maybe affect are the East Coast toll roads that are unionized. So when you go East Coast, you still gotta stop and pay
Wow.
with quarters.
Okay.
Because they've got a union.
Yeah.
Where it's like everywhere else, right? It's
Yeah.
fast pass.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But in my industry, a lot of times it's not necessarily. Back in the day, we used to have the MLS book. So any home that was coming on the market, you got the book.
Wow.
And,
Yeah.
as a potential buyer, you didn't know what was out there. There was no Zillow or Redfin
Right.
kind of thing. So us as agents really, had that kind of chokehold on the market. Well, now you can go on Zillow, you can go on Redfin, and you can see the house. So it's not necessarily about the agents today finding you a house. It's about being able to provide value throughout that whole process and guide you through it, the negotiation side of it, on the buy side, on the sell side as well, understanding what's happening in the market. And then after that, it's as well kind of, if you need a plumber, who's your first call? Are you on to Yellow Pages, or are you thinking, I'm going to my agent? And that's one thing that we kind of pride ourselves on, of kind of just being able to provide this kind of phenomenal experience that gives you this like exceptional service,
Right.
like kind of thing. One of our big things that I'll pitch is our client appreciation that we do, which is a free week's accommodation in Ireland.
Are you serious?
I sure am. I know. I know.
Let me buy a house real quick.
Exactly. I was at one of these talking, events or whatever, and the lady that was there talking about agents were known to give a pie during Thanksgiving to your client. Because in real estate, you want to be top of mind, right? Everybody knows 7 real estate agents kind of thing,
Right.
Now, granted, last year, 87% of real estate agents sold 0 to 1 home. And you're thinking to yourself, wait, 0 to 1 home? How is that? Well, because a lot of people have their license, but they're not full-time in the business. So, but that's still competition that I have to make sure you don't use your Uncle Tom that hasn't sold a house in 4 years, but it's gonna, oh yeah, I'll help you out, Grant, So you always want to stay top of mind with people. But she was saying how like, we can be better than a pie. And I was like, you know what? I can be better than a pie.
A lot better.
But I was like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah.
What am I gonna do? And it came to me. I was like, I can do a free week's accommodation in Ireland for my clients. So that's been a real fun thing that some of my clients have been able to, take advantage of and use. And
That is a great idea.
yeah.
How many times have you done that so far?
So this summer is going to be our second year doing it.
Okay.
So this is going to be our second year. And, partially as well, 2 books that I reread every year. One is called Practices in the Way, John Mark Comer. And the other one is Unreasonable Hospitality.
Okay.
And Unreasonable Hospitality, Will Guardia, 11 Madison Park, restaurant, New York. It was all about this journey of getting 4-star Michelin stars. But just like the book, Unreasonable Hospitality, he wanted to be more than just the food. He wanted to be the service. He wanted this experience to be something that he kind of took you on a journey,
Mm.
and that they would go above and beyond their say expectations. And one example he gave was a family that had been visiting New York, and the waiter was talking to them, how was everything? Oh, they had a great time. They got to do everything bar go sledding. They got to do everything bar sledding because they were from Spain or somewhere like that. And well, of course, now one of the managers of the restaurant buys a couple of sleds. After their dinner is finished, they said, hey, there's a black car out there waiting. There's sleds in the car, and they're going to
Man,
take you to Central Park so you can go sledding
that's
before
unreal.
you go back to Spain. What do you think their experience was
Oh my
like?
gosh, one of one.
One of one.
Yeah.
And that's something that kind of resonates with me too, because buying a house, it's probably your biggest financial decision that you're going to make, and selling a house can be a very emotional kind of experience. So me and my partner, we want to be there to help facilitate that, make it as stress free as possible, but also just have this experience that was just different.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like I said, maybe it's after it's all said and done, and you're going to Ireland for a week with your family, and you're meeting up with a cousin or something like that, and it's like, oh my gosh, this was brilliant.
Right.
Yeah, 101.
Providing exceptional service.
Yeah,
That's what you guys are doing.
yeah, yeah.
That's incredible.
So yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. Let's get on to the last piece, which is really just the what's next for you piece. Where do you want this business to go? Do you ever see yourself going into something else that you enjoy equally?
I don't see myself doing anything other than real estate.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm fortunate enough that real estate's something I'm really passionate about. I love it. My family all make fun of me because like, oh, here comes Aaron, get ready to talk about real estate. But it's something that I just love to do. And like I said, a lot of the reason I love to do it is because you're connecting with people,
Right.
and it brings me joy. And I'm kind of one of those nerds that likes listening to all the real estate podcasts and what's going on in like real estate's great because it's so encompassing. It's not just a house here, a house here. It's like the economy. How is this affecting this? What's going on here with this jobs and all that kind of like. It's like there's an econ aspect to it as well. So it all kind of social aspect, human behavior, all that kind of stuff. So there's always something new.
Yeah.
There's always something new for me to do. So I don't see myself doing anything else. Me and the missus, we plan when the youngest is out of school, we want to kind of have this semi-retired kind of, shouldn't say semi-retired, but spending extended stays in Hawaii, that's where Summer's from, and Spain, southern Spain. So my oldest brother played professionally down in southern Spain, hour east of Malaga, and it's where the Spanish go to vacation, Amanicar. And it's, siestas, chill. Oh, yeah. So I could see like maybe 7-8 years being able to spend like a month there in October or something, and then a month in Hawaii in like January or something when the real estate side is a little bit slower. And of course you can, because I really enjoy the team aspect of things, it would allow me to do that because I'm always stay in that team side of things where I could be gone and have things handled via email, text, but also have boots on the ground here if needs be. So,
wow, that's an exciting plan. I like
yeah,
that.
man, you're gonna have to come
sir.
over and visit in Hawaii
Oh my
or
gosh.
El Espanol. So that's kind of the plans for what I see kind of coming next. We're in the burbs at the moment. So when Julius is out of the house, he's 6th grade now. I could see ourselves moving a little bit closer to downtown Denver, West
sweet.
Highlands, be able to walk to a coffee shop, walk to a brewery,
I like that,
all
though.
that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
But we keep the house, keep it as a rental. So many advantages in real estate here in this country. I always tell people too, it's like real estate in America is kind of like the mountains in Colorado if you're from Colorado. So if you're from here, you've always had them. And you might not fully appreciate it, right? How many people have you met at times are like, oh yeah, I've never been in the mountains. You know, and you're like, wait, you're from Colorado, you never went to the mountains? People from all over the world fly here to go up there. You're like, oh yeah. Well, same with real estate a little bit is real estate doesn't operate like it does here in America in most places in the world. And the easiest example of that is like a 30-year fixed mortgage, where here in America, right, I can get a mortgage and they give me a loan and it's fixed on this rate of whatever it's going to be for those 30 years. Well, that's a great hedge against inflation,
Yeah,
right?
it is.
You know what I mean? And where a lot of other countries, it rotates after 5 years, and then it kind of resets and things like that. And then even just the availability to borrow against your house like you can in America, it's like a little piggy bank because you're saying, hey, my house is increasing in value. If I needed to borrow from it, there's that opportunity too. You can't do that in a lot of other countries. And then the tax advantages that come with it too. It's, it's been built into the tax code here in the States, and it's not like that in a lot of other countries too.
Did not know that.
No, there's so much,
Wow.
so many advantages. So I say it's like those mountains there.
Yeah.
Until you get into it, you don't realize how good
Oh
it
yeah,
is.
it's a good field to be in.
Oh, it's a great field to be in. It's awesome. I love it.
Okay. Well, to rotate a little bit out and to end, I feel like the show is for the most part focused on college.
Okay.
Like there's always some element of college in there. So I know that you played basketball during your time in school, but if you were to give your son, Jalen, or me just advice on how to make the most of our time over our time at college, what would you tell me? What would you tell my generation?
I would say I think you're fortunate enough that you found a fit that you love, and it's somewhere where you can see yourself being until you graduate your senior year, which is amazing. But I would say there's a lot of times people that are in a situation and they're in their college and they're just not sure. They're not sure if this is going to be there next year. They're not sure if what they're studying, if that's what they want to do in the future. And there can be a lot of pressure that is put on young college students today. So my advice would be to understand that it's not forever, but it is for now. And you're not going to be in college forever, but you're there now, so you might as well take full advantage of that. And that looks like getting decent grades, right? Not flunking, because you're not taking advantage if I'm getting Fs and now I'm not getting credits for it. So, getting your grades, taking advantage of the experiences that are there, like going to a football game. Even if you're not into football, but I go to school at Tennessee, go at least once.
Yeah,
give it a shot.
You have to.
You gotta go give it a shot. You know what I mean? Get yourself out there and take advantage of that, of what is around you right now, in a sense. And don't feel there's so many people out there that they don't know what they want to do in life. And that's fine. That's fine. The only thing you need to know in college is where your breakfast is going to be, your lunch, your dinner, and where the social hangouts happening that weekend.
Facts.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, bro, don't stress so much about it. Your friend that you think, that's getting all A's and is studying this, and you think, oh man, they got it all together and things like that. Not necessarily. Okay. So just enjoy the fact, where breakfast, lunch, and dinner is, and find out where that social, happening is going to take advantage of where you're at.
Right.
For sure.
Because that social hangout could be your next job.
It really could be your next job.
Like you could stop stressing, but if you know the right people.
Correct. I mean, and it's. I was literally talking to my friend today who's starting a business, and he's starting it up with somebody that he did a PG year, postgrad year out East Coast. He played basketball. This guy played hockey, and they're launching this
Amazing.
business together.
And they can probably see eye to eye because they're both athletes.
Absolutely. And they had that experience, that shared experience at the prep school that they went to. And this is, they've reconnected 22 years later.
Crazy.
Right? It's 22 years from
Yep.
when they initially, first connected.
You just don't know.
You just don't know. So get out there, be social, say hello. I always tell people, besides, like I said, taking advantage of things, be kind as well while you're out there. Word of advice to people, as we talked about before, I spent 11 years working in mental health, and that was working with young adults that were dealing with suicidal ideation or attempt or just out of control behaviors and stuff like that. And it was people coming from all spectrums and platforms, from every single school in Denver, to every status, that you just never know what people are going through. And being kind can have an impact on somebody's life that you have no idea about. So another thing in college, be kind.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
I think that's a great place to end it. Because when I see people on, whatever sidewalk and I'm going to class, I always make it a point to say hi.
I love that.
And that's beyond the money piece and wanting to be successful.
Yes.
Like, that is the number one thing you can
Yes.
do, is just make a positive impact on someone else's day.
100%.
Go say hi to that person. I think that's good advice.
Say hi and be kind.
Yes, sir. Well, I appreciate you coming on, Coach.
Hey, man,
this is so much
like we
fun.
said, we've been talking about this for
Yeah.
a long time. I'm so excited that you hit me up and that I was able to get over here. And it's been fun to see your success and your growth from the start of Granted, to where you're at right now. And I feel kind of lucky that I got to sit here on the couch. I didn't even realize I got a hippo next to me.
You got a
over
bunch
here.
of things around you.
Oh
you
my
know,
gosh!
just,
This is just pretty sweet setup over here. Yeah, this is so glad we did it here.
Yeah, I'm just beyond just the Eurostar stuff. I'm just grateful that I still have you to contact at any time, and for coming on and spreading some ball knowledge. So
I love it, bro.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
All right. Well, with that being said, everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Granted. Go, check out his website if your parents are buying a house. You know where to go.
ThePewGroup.com or selling, buy or
Pew
sell,
Group.
I'm here.
Yes, sir. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. We Audi 5000. Peace.